This week on Hermitcraft. Yes, we had one Nether hub, but what about the second Nether hub? I don't think he's heard about the second Nether hub, X. Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP, and before we too begin pining over the new Nether hub progress, here's your update on the mysterious case of the floating fish.
Okay, give me a second. Rewind my footage.
The suspicious spectral salmon was spotted this week haunting one of Doc M's newest contraptions, the details of which we'll go into shortly, but it does involve minecarts, rails, and a lot of nearby water. So if anyone wants to put those items into a summoning square and see if they can raise the devilfish, go right ahead. If the pattern continues, you might just end up getting a sea pickle. The fanbase also pointed out minor sightings in a time-lapse of Good Times with Scar as he was fortuning some redstone ore, and from CubFan135 during the Nether Portal teleport in his latest video. Obviously, its hiding skills are nowhere as good as Evil Xizuma's.
So, I'm pretty sure this is what I saw. Everyone's been calling him the salmon ghost. Whatever it might be, this thing appeared in my video, and nobody knows what it is.
There was 3 people on, there was Rendog, there was Scar. They ensured me, and I really have to believe in, they have nothing to do with this fish thing.
Grian and Doc M both swear to get to the bottom of this fishy mystery, although independently of each other, which means we don't get Sherlock Grian and Dr. Doctor just yet.
I think we're going to have to become a proper detective.
And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Doc M and his latest science experiments, some of which might change the landscape of the game as we know it, and some of which just involve putting Iskall in a toilet. The subway bathroom has had a few more details added to it, but Doc isn't done flushing quite yet. This week, running a bit low on diamonds, he tracks down a zombie spawner to take advantage of a glitch that allows zombies to duplicate items. Put simply, a zombie picks up an item, gets left in water for long enough to convert into a drowned, and dies the instant it converts, being temporarily resurrected as a drowned to die again, and duplicating the held item, in this case a counterfeit diamond. So the excuse is he's not duplicating items, he's duplicating zombies, and before the cries of cheating are left in the comments, he's clearly doing it to showcase and document it, not to completely unbalance the server economy and undermine his own stock exchange. Or is he?
Of course, we want to consider not ruining the economy on the server, right? Yeah, just want to show you what's possible in Minecraft, right? That's what I've always did.
Anyway, that's where the salmon ghost turns up, so he'd better hope it doesn't plan to snitch on him. With that done, Doc returns to the server's shiny new Nether hub to set up a player detector below the floor, which will at some point be connected to a transport system, scooping up anyone who's stranded in the hub without an elytra. And they'll need it soon because, as we mentioned in the intro, one Nether hub wasn't enough for the ambitious crew of Hermitcraft. Impulse SV and Xisuma met up this week to discuss Nether Hub 2, the Sky Hub, or perhaps its more sinister title, Blood Moon Rising.
And so, because it feels like it's nighttime, what if we had like a moon?
I think that's perfect, but while you were saying that, I was looking at the red atmosphere and I was thinking Blood Moon.
Oh, ooh, that's cool.
Truly a terrible season to have a curse. So just when you thought the grind was over, Impulse starts putting together tunnels in the nether ceiling which lead to areas outside of the main Hermit Island, and to the nether roof for access to his gold farm. The south-facing tunnel, inspired by some builds on his Patreon server, looks mighty impressive so far. Xisuma, in the meantime, connects his own old projects to the new hub and ponders designing a miniature around his on-the-map portal. On the overworld side of his Prismarine tunnel, he works on domesticating the former Guardian Temple base, and in particular installing an auto-sorted shulker storage system, the same as the one he earlier provided for Scar. A shulker system that, for better or for worse, Scar substitutes with a shulker hotel, a chest array to house the mess that is Scar's storage. Yes, it took a whole day of Minecrafting to clean up. And cleanup really is the overarching task for Scar this week, as he aims to replace the ragtag farms and piles of things of his starting island with something a lot more decorative. So comes to be another pirate island with terrain more spiky than your Minecraft can generate.
All this time, I've been saying, we're going to terraform the island, and months go by. But today, it started. Let's go take a look.
The loot from the mess, combined with the spoils from a digging operation, makes for a whole lot of redstone components that Scar uses to restock the Cherry Computers shop. Speaking of cleaning up messes, the giant chicken on top of FalseSymmetry's base is gone. And before all you other Grian heads go crazy, he's not gone far. He's only gone down to his own room in False's basement. She really did rebuild it down there with block for block accuracy.
I've just got him on a lead and brought him down here, and then he totally just squeezed through this gap into that room.
As her base needs tunnels, entrances, and infrastructure, the one episode is spent doing bits and bobs that would improve her overall living experience, especially the tweaks to the clock tower, because it'd bug her if she didn't fix it. Zombie Cleo 2 cleans up a prank, and also with the intent of rebuilding it later, although her basement probably doesn't have room for the full girth of the Dirty Molly ship. But the reposition was necessary for Juggernaut, her own sizable vessel, to exchange fire with the Tortuga Island. Some part of the lore implied the Rainbow Pirates are still at war with the local fish people, and some obsidian cannonball heads hitting the stone towers implies that they are winning. Tortuga aims to return fire with a ballista that they now have, although 1.14 crossbows are missing here.
I think we've got a problem. Yes, I know things are trying to get to us. Hello?
Joe Hills is returning fire of a different kind. He sells weapons in the form of words. Setting up a war room of sorts for retaliation against musical threats, he sets up an alarm system, after the appropriate amount of decision making around which note block sound to use, and then reenacts how he would react to a musical threat from a Texan country singer, using Pokemon references.
Oh no! Pokemon George Strait! And I was just like, well, I could write a geographically based humorous song just as easily, and my Pokemon are better than yours.
You can decide for yourselves whether it's super effective. Cubfan wages a war of his own. Irritated by the amount of lag, especially noticeable in his visiting Mumbo's base bit, he sets out to hunt down every rogue boat in the area to lower the entity count. He then violates the Geneva Convention by blowing the prisoners of war to smithereens.
Yeah, this seems like a totally reasonable and normal response to boats being left around Hermitcraft Island. Beautiful.
Having schooled the Nether Hub a bunch on how to item frame his portal properly, Cub returns to the Concorp mainland to literally deepen the infrastructure. The sizable cube he digs out is dedicated for future offices for the board directors and slightly less bored parrots. TFC has taken similar measures with his supply depot, rearranging everything so the chests and lighting fit neatly and symmetrically. After all, he wouldn't want to drive any more of the residents mad than was strictly necessary.
And I know somebody's going to say, well, hey, go to so-and-so, they got a wood shop, you can buy it up. One of the secrets to obtaining and having lots of diamonds is don't spend them if you don't have to.
But that's a decision for the Overseer, whose living quarters also get a slightly fancier layout with a living room, an office space, and a comfortably carpeted bedroom. Jevin, in the meantime, has carpeted the ocean. Well, not himself, and not technically the ocean, he just provided blue carpet for the Nether Hub. And really, I wonder how they could tell he had a lot of blue stuff, what with his giant fidget spinner blending into the sea. Which is apparently not quite the effect Jevin wanted, as he starts replacing the concrete with red terracotta, at first just to see if it does well, but then also to see if it does well on a large scale.
And here's the reason why, right? The colors of blue that we're using, they don't match very well. Now red, on the other hand, red really makes this place pop.
The green terracotta, in the meantime, was probably bought out by Stress Monster, who decides the best way to set up a station in the frozen ocean is to crash a train into an iceberg. And while this might sound like a literal train wreck, the result is really quite awesome. Think more Polar Express than Snowpiercer, and you're on the right lines. Of course, the best part is that the minecarts the hermits would use to get around arrive inside the body of the train. So basically, trainception.
Yeah, I think that looks much better. It looks very steely, doesn't it? And that's kind of the plan for this. The
rest of Stress's episode is spent working on the extended arm of the fort, Drippy Ice to be added later, and celebrating the fact that she's moved everything into Iskall's storage system now. Everything except these 7 chests of junk, anyway. Rendog, as the foreman of the rail project, would no doubt approve. He definitely approves of the Architechts floating station and Iskall's 4-way junction in the shopping district this week, before moving on to his own projects. He's building in the medieval area because, well, someone had to, but also because a decent chunk of it seems to have been absorbed into the ever-popular shopping district. Ren's plan is to build mini versions of the Stacks for Stacks tavern to fill the area in, then set up a Renporium where he wants to sell an eclectic mix of things, with the first product in his sights being ender chests. The fantasy district also gets a little love when he returns to the Ren Hole to find it haunted, but by Grian heads and floaty armor rather than the salmon ghost.
And, well, I probably won't be coming back here again, because, well, we're working on a brand new base, aren't we?
Unearthing the Nether portal to bring it above ground, he decorates it as a fantasy hill and makes sure it connects to its rightful place in the community hub. And finally, there's the Architechts. All 3 of them. Yes, Iskall finally received his invitation to the Giant Quartz Club, although through the quirks of a particular Grian, it looked more like a Hogwarts acceptance letter. You see, having lost the original piece of paper, Grian decided, butts to it, the digital medium has betrayed us, and went to an actual calligrapher, wrote a full-on letter in elven penmanship, and sent it to Sweden, Earth, sealed with a waxen seal, no less. If anyone ever asks you exactly how extra this man can be, point them towards this video.
It has a seal on it? Iskall, 85 Diorite Road, somewhere in Sweden, Earth. Oh my goodness, look at this!
Although this is no tulip and getting down on one knee, Iskall does agree to the offer.
Basically, he said, I accept. And I replied saying, okay lol.
Once this weird Grian-based ARG is over with, Iskall gets back to work on the shopping district rail station, which, thanks to a couple of nifty redstone contraptions, now loads and unloads minecarts automatically on the station platform, along with the various buttons to send you on your way. He has to move Wells Knight's glass shop to fit it all in, but that doesn't derail him for long. Mumbo has heard one too many comments about his base producing too much lag, so this week he installs giant off switches for the laggiest of his farms and is instantly delighted that it only takes him 1 firework to take off.
I just took off with 1 rocket. Wait, hang on. Oh, this is blissful. Honestly, I'm so happy right now.
Now, as long as he never touches those switches again, we're set for the rest of the season. The witch farm gets connected to the Nether hub, and the TNT dupers, speaking of lag, are primed to take care of the rest of that pesky terrain around it. With that taken care of, he decides that crypto is the wave of the future, and works on a redstone contraption that will dispense and adjust the value of an as yet unnamed currency. He calls it Hermitcoin at first, but it turns out that's already a real thing. Mumbo might be onto something though, considering his system doesn't require you to talk to Doc and Ren to get your diamonds back. Whatever it's called, you can guarantee that the best place to spend it will be the Architechts' new pet project, Sahara. The problem now is, where do you put a shop that sells everything in an overcrowded shopping district? The answer? Wherever Grian just dug up this footprint for it. This, however, comes with a price for the shopping infrastructure, as to make way for the new business venture, Grian cleans out his old shopping cart too, since the stuff from it will be available at Sahara anyway. Really, of all the places to look for sand, this one sounds the most intuitive. Lastly, impressed with Concorp's cool portal, he too decorates his own Nether hub entry with a miniature copy of his base, therefore defining the scale for miniaturized landmarks in the future. Considering this is what a build height tower looks like, the rest of the bases will be represented by single blocks of concrete. And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is ZloyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. We went to the Nether in Skyblock. It was terrifying, and you can find it in this week's End Screen Theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.